took a dark turn almost immediately. Beth began to feel unwell shortly after their arrival in Turkey, possibly even beginning to feel sick in the middle of the flight. Within 48 hours, her condition would deteriorate, leading to her death. The family's ordeal was compounded by a series of distressing experiences, including allegations of medical malpractice, disturbing interactions with Turkish medical staff and authorities, and a horrifying discovery during a post-mortem examination in the UK. Beth's heart was missing. This revelation became a focal point of the family's grief and their subsequent fight for accountability, transforming a personal tragedy into a case raising significant international concerns. In the wake of Beth's death and the subsequent disturbing findings, a GoFundMe campaign was established by a family friend. The campaign was to provide financial support for Luke Martin, who is now a widower and a single father, but also it was a platform for the family's story and their fight for answers. The family's goal is to bring all of her home, a reference to the missing organ and their desire for Beth's remains to be complete. This case is characterized by conflicting accounts. The Martins family's disturbing testimony of neglect and mistreatment against the statements of Turkish authorities, specifically the Ministry of Health, which give a strange perspective on the medical care provided and the circumstances surrounding Beth's death and autopsy. The sequence of events following the Martins family arrival in Turkey shows a picture of a medical emergency that rapidly escalated, and that it was made worse by communication failures and distressing encounters with the local healthcare system. The Martin family, Beth, Luke, and their 2 children, arrived in Turkey on Sunday, April 27, 2025. Beth began to feel sick, and her initial symptoms were dismissed as something minor like food poisoning. By Monday morning, April 28th, Beth's condition had significantly worsened. She became delirious. Luke Martin's attempt to get urgent medical attention were met with delays. He was informed that there were no doctors or hospitals available until 10 a.m. Eventually, an ambulance arrived, and Beth was transported to a local hospital. Luke described the initial hospital as destitute and worn down. He and their young children had followed the ambulance in a taxi. Luke's story, from this point, suggests a healthcare environment that felt alien and unresponsive. After she arrived at the hospital, Beth was supposedly scared and disoriented, not herself, which makes sense. She was in a hospital in a foreign country. The situation was made worse by significant language barriers, making communication with the medical staff difficult. The last time her children saw their mother alive, they witnessed their mother being pinned down, poked, and prodded invasively by strangers without any explanation to them or their father about what was happening. Luke was overwhelmed and realized he needed to care for his distraught children. So Luke called both his mother and Beth's mother and asked them to fly to Turkey for support. During this period, a kind stranger whom Luke had befriended on the airplane offered to stay with Beth and allowed Luke to take their children back to the hotel. An important part of the story is that Beth Martin had a known allergy to penicillin. Luke Martin had stated that he informed the paramedics of this allergy when Beth was taken into the ambulance, and later during her hospital stay,